Hey guys, welcome back. It is TechLock here. Hope you're having a great day. I know I haven't been doing a lot of banner review videos, but today we are back on the bandwagon. COIL3, the official banner, came out last night, so it is time to take a look over the winners and the new units for COIL3. And this is going to even be even better because due to the FEH channel, we have all the statistics or all the stats for the Brave weapon, so we can kind of evaluate them as a whole during this banner trailer. So let's get into it.
Camilla, Queen of North, has a certain ring to it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, so the first hero we have is second place for the women's division, which is Camilla. And from my research, I guess that being the Queen of North isn't canonical, so this might be from a different timeline or an alternate timeline. But again, really cool unit. I love the art on this one. And as we can see, she's a staff unit, so really rounds out Camilla emblem quite nicely, giving people who love to use Camilla just another option, another great option for Camilla. I believe we have Axe, Red Tome, Green Tome, Blue Tome, Dagger, and now Staff. So lots of different options for using Camillas, and this Camilla, Brave Camilla, certainly holds her weight. Her weapon, which I don't even want to try to pronounce that, and it's kind of being a staff unit, she's very similar to Brave Veronica with having Dazzling Staff built into her weapon here, and then she also has Wrathful Staff on the B slot. Again, that's going to be pretty standard for any top tier staff unit in the game as of this point, so it's kind of nice that IS just accepts that and gives us Dazzling Staff built in and Wrathful Staff on the B. So in addition to having Dazzling Staff, it also grants that if the unit initiates combat, grants attack speed +3, and after combat, if the unit attacked, inflicts gravity on targets and foes within one space of target. Now, the attack +3, and initially, I'll be completely honest with you, I wasn't that impressed with Camilla and these units in general, but the more I think about them, the more I look at them, the more impressed I'm becoming with them. And I'll kind of explain my reservations about these units at the end of the video. But attack +3, or attack and speed +3 is very similar to a weapon that we got, or a seasonal weapon that we got that had Swift Sparrow built into the weapon. So attack speed +3 is nothing new, nothing revolutionary when it comes to adding skills to a weapon. So it's basically like a gravity staff, since you can do a dazzling refine on a gravity staff, just it's with more might, and then it has this kind of built-in almost Swift Sparrow. So I know people are looking at this and saying this is an amazing staff, but in reality it's maybe a little bit stepped up. I don't think it's completely game breaking. I don't think it's completely revolutionary. It's basically a gravity staff, a little bit more might, with the Dazzling Refine already installed on it, and then you have attack speed +3, which is an almost a Swift Sparrow during initiation, which we just got on the bridal banner for this past year. So again, great weapon. Don't think it's game breaking. When it comes to Restore Plus, I think that's a great option to put on her. Yeah, again, there's so many things, especially with the most recent Summer Heroes and the new Ruse skills, where so many people are just going to be hit with debuffs and panics and threatens and yada yada yada, that the Restore staff is kind of crucial, especially when it comes to being competitive in such modes as Aether Raids. So Restore Plus definitely makes a lot of sense to put on her here. Attack speed +4. When I first saw the skill, I was like, okay, but the push skills aren't really effective now because they're basically a one-use skill, and with speed push 4, attack speed push 4, they significantly dropped the HP threshold from 100% to 25%. So I think that makes this skill much, much more viable. So this is when I kind of think, this is where I see the value in her unit, is that she has attack speed plus 3 plus this attack speed plus 7. So when she's initiating on attacks, she's getting attack speed plus 10. Granted that she already has a very significant offensive output at attack at 33, speed at 37. She's going to be hitting very hard. I believe that brings a total to, without buffs, speed of 47, which means she's going to double basically 95 or 96% of the units in the game. And then she'll have attack of 57 with Wrestle Staff. That's pretty good. I think it's probably one of the best attacks we get from a staff unit. So, again, I think that's where a lot of her strength lies, is in her A skill combined with her weapon. Again, Wrestle Staff is critical, and then attack tactic is not something new. We got attack tactic on Brave Celica last year, and attack tactic is very easily obtainable if you summon a Legault who has it at 4-star rarity. So attack tactic I don't think is the most crucial C skill. I mean, if you're running her, if you're picking Camilla, if you love Camilla, you're probably going to run her in a Camilla emblem, and at this point you probably just replace it with Ward Flyers or Goad Flyers. Flyer skill would be much better here, just considering how people would use it. But yeah, at the end of the day, great unit. She does have a really great stat spread with HP at 39, attack at 33, speed at 37, defense at 21, and res at 25. But I don't see these skills as completely game breaking or anything that's going to be completely revolutionary to Faye.
Do you need a hug?
Everything has finally been settled. I am to succeed my father as Marquess Foray.
Okay, so we have the runner-up in the men's division, which is Ellie Wood. And honestly, really, really reminds me of legendary Ellie Wood. Because apart from, I mean, it's insane how close he is to legendary Ellie Wood. Because if I'm correct, legendary Ellie Wood had a sword that was effective against dragons, and then also in his sword he had the whole bonus doubler thing as a support buff, but he also had Death Blow 8, and then his other two skills and his passive were all about buffing up other units. Now we come here to Brave Ellie Wood and we see the exact same thing. We have a Rally Attack Defense Plus, which works really well with Attack Speed Ruse 3. I won't get into exactly what Attack Speed Ruse 3 does because we've already broken down what it does on Summer Ursula. But again, fantastic skill. I love the Ruse skills, but really the best way to use Ellie Wood here would be your Rally skill, because you have a Rally Attack Defense Plus skill, which is fantastic, giving Attack Defense 6 to a different ally. And so you'd rally them, you basically trigger Attack Speed Ruse, use that on whichever ally is going to give you the best opportunity to use a Speed Ruse, basically the cardinal directions, to inflict attack and speed -5, and guard on whichever foes in cardinal directions. So basically, that's a 11 stat difference in attack, because obviously the ally that you're buffing up will get +6 attack, and the ally in the cardinal direction, which I'm assuming you're going to go target after this, having minus attack. So that's a 11 stat differential there, +6 defense, -5 speed, plus speed opening. Also, again, there's not really a condition for it. I love these opening skills because they're really easy to trigger. It's just at the start of the turn, grants speed +6 to ally with the highest speed for one turn. So, all in all, fantastic support unit. But I don't see him being too much in combat. I mean, he's definitely a specialist when it comes to dragon and beast foes. Granted that we really don't have too many weapons that are effective against beast foes right now, except for, I guess, Picnic, Felicia, and Lucas, I believe, is the other one. Two of the Picnic heroes have the effective against beast units, but apart from that, he does have a very usable stat spread: HP at 40, attack at 37, speed at 35, defense at 32, and res at 18. Again, exactly what we'd expect given his legendary. His legendary is very similar with pretty high stats except for res. So, again, very, very high offensive output. And again, with Swift Sparrow 3, it brings his attack, or it brings his speed up to 42, which is very consistent for doubling about 80% of the units in the game. And then, if you are initiating with Swift Sparrow, given his weapon's might, that's 59 attack when initiating. So again, he holds his own in the offensive stat spread, but just given his skills and how well he can be used as a support ally, that would be probably more recommended that you use him as a support ally. Now, I get the feeling, I think, don't get me wrong, great unit, great skills, great stats. However, I just get the feeling he's going to turn into last year's Brave Celica, where people only are going to use him to fodder off for the A skill. Considering that last year, Celica had Deathblow 4, and this year, Eliwood has Swift Sparrow 3. Again, Swift Sparrow 3 is a very coveted skill, because so far it only came on Summer Leg Yarn, I believe. So, again, super powerful skill, super coveted, and I feel like people are going to fodder him off for that. And now you might be saying, hey, Tech Lock, but the whole beast effective, the dragon effective, his weapon is amazing. We haven't even talked about the grants attack speed, defense +4 during combat. And yes, I know, I get it. I do get it. We don't have a lot of beast slayers in the game yet. But if you think about it, last year's Brave Heroes, how long did it take before last year's heroes got outclassed? And that's the same question I'm asking myself now is, how long is it before we get another unit that, or before that beast slaying weapons become very, very common in FEH? Because we know it's inevitable. With heroes such as Mufasa, Valoria, Keaton running around, I mean, there's going to become beast slaying weapons here at some point. So it's only a matter of time that we get a beast slaying unit that does Eliwood's job better than Eliwood, and then at that point, he really does become Swift Sparrow and attack speed ruse fodder. So that's my only reservation with Eliwood, but for right now in the game, talking about right now, he is a fantastic unit, and again, really can't ask for a better opening kit, especially, but it is kind of scary how similar it is to his legendary iteration, with a great weapon, with a very hard-hitting A skill, but then a passive skill and a B and C skill that are totally focused on supporting other units.
As Dane's ruler, it is my duty to defend it as the precious place it is. I see.
Alright, now we have the winner for the women's division, which is Micaiah. And okay, one thing, I cannot be the only one that is creeped out by Yoon just floating above her in her sprite. It's a little, not the biggest fan. Not the best design choice in my opinion, but let's move on. Again, this is a unit everyone's been waiting to see because we could see a lot of what she had to offer in the FEH channel, but no one knew what Yoon's whispers were. So now we know what Yoon's whispers were, and it's kind of what people were speculating. But we'll get into that later. So Light of Dawn, very, very similar to the other Micaiahs that are present in the game, effective against armored and cavalry foes, and grants res +3. And then also, again, these weapons really feel like they're taking pages out of the most recent seasonal units, because we're taking a page out of the most recent summer banner, where we're getting grants a bonus to attack speed, defense, res during combat equals current penalty on each target stats, and calculates each stat bonus independently. So we've seen this very, very recently in the summer units that are getting, because of their weapon effect, they're getting buffs to their stats based on penalties inflicted on the target. So, again, I don't think it's a very hard condition to meet. If you watch my banner reviews for those videos, I talk about how easy it is with the threatens, with the chills, with the ruses, with all these different skills that are now being introduced to the game. Panics, sudden panic, versus night. Just how simple it is to get debuffs on the other enemy's units. So, again, I don't think it is the hardest thing in the world to trigger this weapon effect. So, also sacrifice, it's a standard Micaiah thing to come with. I see that being replaced immediately as soon as people get this unit. And from what I've learned, or from what the whisperings that I've heard, people are going to be choosing Micaiah as the free unit because people are just love Micaiah. I might choose her just because I don't have a Micaiah currently, which is really upsetting, and she's really powerful. So that whole effect against armored and cavalry would be good. She might be my free unit. I was really hoping. I really tried for Micaiah on the unit on the banner that came out this morning. I really tried for Micaiah on the revival banner for last year's Dancers, and no such luck. But I digress. Attack Res Bond 4. I think this would have been good enough with Grant's attack res plus 7 to unit, but these lovely fourth tier skills with the yellow border really have to go above and beyond. So, in addition to the attack res plus 4 being next to someone, it neutralizes units penalties to attack res during combat. So, there's no way someone can debuff the attack and res bonus that you're getting from attack res bond. Yoon's Whispers really plays into her weapon here at the start of turn. It's really kind of like Sudden Panic or Versus Night, but focusing specifically on attack speed plus 6. At the start of turn, if any foe's res less than or equal to unit's res minus 3, and that foe is adjacent to another foe and inflicts attack speed on that foe through its next action. So again, it's two-faceted here. A, Micaiah has insane defense. Actually, first let's run through her stats. She has HP at 36. Okay, attack at 37. Pretty great for a mage, or a flying mage, I should say. Speed 28. It's okay, but to be expected with Micaiah. Defense at 17. Abysmal, but to be expected with Micaiah. Res at 37. Incredible, and to be expected with Micaiah. Plus her weapon gives her res plus 3, so at base, at neutral, she is running 40 res. So, Yoon's Whispers is going to hit a lot of units in the game. There's not many units that come to mind that can easily top 40 res. Let's see. The one that comes to mind right now is Idun, but yeah, most people don't run Idun just because she's an armor and a dragon, and people know the pitfalls with that. But most units are going to be hit by Yoon's Whispers, and again, it's twofold. So A, it's going to buff up her how hard she hits by 12 points of might because of, she's going to buff up how hard she hits by 6 points of might because of the minus on attack, and it's also going to help Micaiah's longevity by reducing the speed of the other current ally by 6 and increasing Micaiah's speed by 6, basically bringing her to about 34 speed, which that 28 to 34 speed jump is massive for survivability on doubles, and reducing the opponent's speed by 6 should really prevent Micaiah being doubled. So again, it helps her hit a little bit harder with her weapon and helps her survivability as it comes to the speed stat. Ground Orders, we saw that with Bridal Fjorm. Really cool skill, great skill for mobility. on a mixed team. However, Micaiah is a flyer, and in the meta right now, we have a lot of flyer balls. I see this being switched out with a ward or goad flyers. And then, obviously, her S slot is going to be Eye of Shield, because as a flyer with 17 defense, literally any arrow will take her out. Rebecca will take her out without a bowstring. Can still take her out. She can throw her arrow and take out Micaiah. So that's that would be my first and foremost suggestion would be to put Eye of Shield, but basically, yeah, fantastic unit. Yoon's Whispers is a really, really cool B skill, but again, we do have a lot of... It's very similar to Ellie Wood's Ruse skill, just with a different condition trigger, and I feel like both condition triggers are not incredibly hard to trigger, so I don't feel like Yoon's Whisper is... Oh, it's incredibly game-breaking because it's a rewording of the Ruse skill, which literally appeared 5 minutes ago in this video. And attack Respawn 4, that's just an obscenely good skill. Give her Iceberg Glacies. She's good to go.
Skilled heroes abound in this place. I mustn't fall behind.
And the last unit here, the winner of the men's division, is Alm. And while I said initially, my initial reaction to this banner, Alm really blew me away, and he was the best in my opinion, but now it's kind of changed a little bit, as I've kind of started to appreciate the value of the other units, but I still think Alm might be my favorite on this banner. So he's going back. He's not an archer anymore. He's reverted back to his normal self, wielding a bow and basically wielding a falchion. But this falchion is absolutely dirty. Basically, it's... I don't know how accurate it is to the game. I have not played Shadows of Valencia or Echoes or whichever game he's in. But from this weapon effect, it really makes me seem that he loves to go off by himself and solo everything reminiscent of Ephraim a la Sacred Stones. Just because, again, we have the normal effective against dragon foes. Grants attack +3. Fantastic. His whole kit's built around getting attack. And if the number of foes within 2 spaces, excluding target, is greater than or equal to the number of allies within 2 spaces, including target, grants attack speed, defense, res +5 during combat. Wow, that is a lot of stat buffs. It's basically an extra 20 BST. And granted, this boy, as an infantry, already has 172 BST. So, again, really fantastic stats. Sorry, I'll go over stat spread. HP of 42, good. Attack at 38, fantastic. Speed at 35, fantastic. Defense at 37, even better, and res at 20, to be expected, but he has enough buffs where it does not matter. So, again, just imagine adding 5 to all of those. Ridiculous. Draconic Aura makes sense. He has a high attack, and it's pretty quick to trigger. Sun Scale, I guess, would be his very unique ace skill. Deals damage equal to 25% of attack after combat if unit attack deals 7 damage to unit. Again, that's pure damage, granted that he has with buffs. Let's just assume, I mean, he's at 38, but let's just assume that for convenience sake, 40 attack, he's always going to be throwing out at least 10 damage. No matter what, on top of his current damage output. And so, deals 7 damage to unit is kind of like a more targeted Fury, and don't get me wrong, Fury is a great skill. Chill Defense is a great B skill, but I could see it being switched out with something that synergizes better with his A skill. Maybe a Vantage, maybe a Desperation. both skills I see being very, very useful on a unit like Alm, who also gets to deal 7 damage to unit. Chill Defense, would I rather run that on a support unit? I think Alm is not as much of a support unit. I think he's more a player phase attack unit. So Chill Defense, while it is good, while it does synergize well with his offensive output here, let's just think that there's some better skills just because you want to maximize offensive output, and Chill Defense is better on a support unit. Threat and attack speed, though, that is, wow, that is a great skill. So the start of turn unit is within 2 spaces of a foe, so you do need to have the proximity trigger on this one. Grants attack speed +5 to this unit, so Alm, for 1 turn, and inflicts attack speed -5 on foes within 2 spaces for their next actions. So that's essentially a 10-point swing in attack and speed. That is just absurd, really making threatened skills relevant again. I can't say much about that other than that's fantastic. I don't see why anyone would ever want to replace the C skill on Alm. It really does wonders to buff him up and debuff the opposing players, and especially if you're going to be using him, as his weapon suggests, as a soloer. Guys, I'm sorry for all the text notifications. I'm doing this during work. Shh. But yeah, given that the buffs, given that he's getting buff from his weapon, attack buff from his A skill, and buff from his C skill, and if you're going to be using his weapon as it kind of deems it should as a soloer, I would imagine that you're going to be closer to units more often than not. If Alm is off by himself, so the threatened attack speed should come into play fairly regularly and should be a very, very useful C skill for Alm.
Not a chance!
That is a ludicrous amount of damage output right there. Okay, so we'll be getting these units tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. So, definitely cool to the units come in. Something I forgot to mention about Camilla, you do have the Live to Serve seal, Sacred Seal that you can add onto her to kind of negate her damage, or how she takes damage based on her push skill. But however, since the threshold is 25%, you really do not need to worry about healing her all the time, since they reduce the threshold from 100% down to 25%. But overall, these units look spectacular. They're going to be great. They're going to definitely pose a lot of challenges to players when they first encounter them, and they're going to help out a lot of players. However, my only concern is that last year, everyone got really, really excited over Brave Ephraim, Brave Hector, Brave Celica, and Brave Veronica. And the only one that's really kind of held up over the course of the year is Brave Veronica. She's the only one that I still see people consistently using. It did not take long for the 2 armors, Brave Ephraim and Brave Hector, to be easily outclassed, with a lot of armor killing units coming out and a lot of units resistant to armor, and also breaking their bold fighter, special fighter skills. And then Celica, she probably had the shortest lifespan, and which bums me out because I really like using her. I have a plus attack version, and I think she's fantastic. So it's just taking that into consideration kind of makes me wonder. Again, we're always getting new staff units, except for Brady and the most recent one. I can't remember her name. But even before that, we had Bridal Fjorm, who had a fantastic staff that even rivals Camilla's staff. So I don't think it's going to be taking long until we have another staff unit that has a press staff that just is insane. If you watch some of my staff videos or my staff speculation, we could start getting staffs like those, and those would be insane to see in Heroes. Elliewood has a place until we have better beast slaying units, and then I feel like he's going to become fodder for his A skill and B skill. Micaiah and Alm, I see a little bit more sticking power with them, but Alm really has a lot of competition when it comes to red infantry sword units, especially when you have so many that are easily attainable at 3 and 4 star, very easy to plus 10, and some, it's like Selena, who just got their weapon refined to make them very competitive again. So I do see a lot of competition, and then he is a great offensive unit, but he might be single faceted in his attacks on dragons with the Draco Falchion. But then again, I could be wrong. He does have a lot of offensive output, regardless of who he's up against, even if it's not a dragon. So he could just be a very crazy offensive nuker. And Micaiah is the same as well. Again, her role has not changed from her first 2 iterations in this game. She's going to be an offensive nuker against cavalry and armored foes. Not really going for the double, but her skills should certainly prevent her from getting doubled, to help her survivability a little bit longer. But so that's kind of my take on the heroes. Again, everyone always gets super impressed by the brave heroes as soon as they come out, but it really doesn't take long, I guess, in the past 2 CYLs. This could be different. IS could be going a different route. We've seen the past banner really wasn't that meta breaking. So maybe we're going back into units that aren't going to break the meta every time we come out with a new banner, that they're new must-have units. Maybe more so along the lines of, alright, pull for the units if you want them, maybe adding some more 3 and 4 star heroes to the pool. That would be nice for a change. Kind of slow down the high-powered units that enter the pool, but it is inevitable. These units will be outclassed, so good luck. We get a free unit. I'm leaning towards either Micaiah or Alm here as my free unit. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys are going to pick for your free unit, and let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys can sway me to pick someone else, because again, I'm not totally sold on who I'm going to pick yet. But yeah, good luck. Hope this information was helpful, and happy CYL3, you guys. Take care.